Hello. Today we're going to talk about Fenwick& West's electronic information management services, particularly in the area of records retention and records destruction. Why EIM, or electronic information management? Several reasons. First, every client or company can improve its efficiency by knowing what it has and knowing how to more readily enable its workers to get to that information. Two, every organization can save money on storage, both of live data, backed up data, and paper and other physical files. Three, every organization that is maturing can reduce risk as it grows. What do I mean by that? Well, as a company has been around longer and marches toward IPO, or is trying to get acquired, or going for another round of financing, or hoping to get another investment in the company, comes under increased scrutiny from a number of sources. And information management, if done well, and enables you to routinize your protocols and your policies and therefore withstand that extra scrutiny. And fourth, the added bonus is better preparation for the inevitable litigation and electronic discovery requests that are going to come down the pike. The goals of an electronic information management or records retention project are to prevent oversaving and prevent chaos. I often use the analogy, especially when I first go to meet with a client on site, that a company is really like one of our garages at home. We oversave. We have all kinds of stuff, and it's all over the place. It's very chaotic to the point where it's hard to find the things we want to find. It's also dangerous. There are risks, such that what looks like Grand Central Terminal here, because it's got so much stuff in it, is really what I call Grand Risk Central. What do I mean by that? Well, there's stuff that are hazards. Over here we've got some poisonous substances that are buried under stuff you don't know they're there. Here some rodents have made a hole in the wall and are chewing up various things. You don't know they're there because you got a box hiding the hole. And over here you've got some valuable stuff that you're never seeing because you can't get to it. You don't even know where it is. So maybe a painting by your long-lost aunt that you cherish, but you haven't been able to find it because it's buried under other stuff. And maybe this is a box of some key papers that you just don't see because it's hidden. Very similarly, in a company of any shape or size or style, there really is what I call the electronically stored information, or ESI garage. And here's an example of a chart that I did a few years ago for a very large company that waited until it was in reactive mode in litigation to commission a list or a chart or a menu of where its data was. And you can see data's flowing all over the place here. We were representing the first subsidiary of this company, but they had another subsidiary, headquarters all over the place, data flowing here, flowing there. No one knew where the information was or where it was going on a regular basis until reactive mode. It's better to do this kind of project, this kind of planning, this kind of charting out proactively. And why is that? Well, two reasons. One is that less is more, and the other is less is less. And let me quickly tell you what I mean by those two ideas. The first one is really based on the multiple audiences test, meaning when all of us in this day and age write an email or a message to someone, we're really writing to the whole world, and we don't really think of it that way, but that email is being saved and sent around in multiple places, usually at least within a company. So a few years ago, an antitrust colleague of mine, when training some of our clients to follow the multiple audiences test, my colleague Mark Ostrow came up with what he called the green eggs and ham test, a little way to be wary of multiple audiences, and he did it to the rhyme of green eggs and ham, and I've tweaked it over the years, and the most current version that I use goes like this. Would you like it in the press? Would you like it on a competitor's desk? Would you like it in the government's hand? Would you like to read it on the witness stand? If the content will get you slammed, then do not send or post it, Sam I am. But people still do, and if you winnow down what you have, you're going to have less of that. And that's the reason that less is more. You will be in substantively better shape later on when you start doing an investigation or digging into your emails if you have less. How do you make less is more? How do you winnow down what you have? Well, you start by targeting what I consider to be the riskiest vats of information, and you'll come up with a plan to routinely winnow those down, where the default is that these messages go away unless someone affirmatively acts to keep them. And those targets, the vats, are email, instant messaging and voicemail. I've worked with dozens of clients, as have my colleagues in EIM here, on winnowing those down. Another target is backup data. There's usually this so-called rule of three, where every bit of live data is saved in at least 2 places. So backup data is another target. Most companies save backed up information, especially in old legacy formats, way too long. Now, what do I mean by less is less? In litigation, which is inevitably going to follow, or even a subpoena or some other kind of eDiscovery request where you're not really even the litigating party at your company, there's a direct relationship between the more data you have and the more it's going to cost. And conversely, the less data you have, the less it's going to cost. So if you look at this chart, the more data, the more cost. The less data, going from petabytes down to terabytes to gigabytes, the less it will cost you in the inevitable incident response or eDiscovery scenario. So also less is less. Some highlights of what we've done. I mentioned earlier dozens of clients. We provided data security and information management services to over 50 clients. We often do this on an alternative fee arrangement or flat fee basis. These projects are flexible in scope. We tailor them to what the client wants and doesn't want, or what it needs and what it might not need at the given time. We try to get them to wade into this rather than daunting them. If you'd like some more information, please contact me, Robert Brownstone, at rbrownstone@fenwick.com. Thank you for listening.